Every morning Henry woke to the same quiet. His old house, set back from the road, seemed to hold its breath until he shuffled to the kitchen. He poured his coffee, sat by the window and watched the sun rise. The world outside was always silent except for the faint rustle of trees. But this morning, something was different. A sharp, desperate bark cut through the dawn. Henry stiffened, his mug halfway to his lips. He had not heard a dog's bark in years, not since his own companion passed. The sound was urgent, pleading, insistent. Henry stood, feeling his heart thump with curiosity and a strange sense of worry. The bark came again, closer now, as if calling just for him. He opened the creaking door and stepped out onto the porch. The air was cool and still, but the bark rang out once more, slicing through the quiet like a bell. Henry squinted, searching for the source. He saw a dark shape at the edge of his yard, just beyond the old oak tree. The barking stopped, replaced by a low, hopeful whine. For a moment Henry hesitated. He was not used to change. But there was something in that bark, a plea he could not ignore. So, he set down his mug, grabbed his coat, and walked toward the sound that had broken his morning silence. As Henry approached, the shape became clearer. It was a large German shepherd, its fur thick and dusted with dew. The dog stood with its tail low and eyes bright, watching Henry's every step. Henry stopped a few feet away, unsure. The shepherd did not growl or bark again. Instead, it wagged its tail weakly, as if asking for help. Henry crouched down, careful not to startle the animal. "Hey there, boy," he said softly. The shepherd whined and stepped forward. It nudged Henry's hand with its nose, then looked back toward the woods, its body tense with urgency. Henry followed the dog's gaze. Something was wrong, he could feel it. He straightened up, brushing off his knees. The dog began to trot toward the trees, pausing to make sure Henry followed. The old man hesitated only a moment before stepping off the familiar path and into the damp grass. The shepherd led the way, glancing back often to keep Henry close. For the first time in a long while, Henry felt needed. The shepherd guided him deeper into the trees, their footsteps soft on the mossy earth. Each step took Henry farther from his old routine, and closer to something new. The woods were dim and quiet, filled with early morning shadows. Henry followed the shepherd, stepping over roots and ducking under low branches. The dog's pace quickened as they neared a small clearing. Henry could hear faint sounds ahead, a whimper, a soft yelp. They reached a hollow beneath a fallen log. There, Henry saw a heartbreaking sight. A Dalmatian lay still, her eyes closed and her body motionless. Nestled against her side were 5 tiny puppies, their black spots barely visible on their trembling bodies. They whimpered, searching for warmth and comfort. Henry knelt beside the scene, his heart aching. The shepherd sat down beside him, pressing close for comfort. The old man gently touched the puppies, feeling their shivering bodies. He looked at the shepherd, who watched the puppies with deep concern and affection. It was clear the shepherd had tried to help, but needed more. Henry understood what he had to do. He took off his coat and wrapped the puppies with care. The shepherd licked their tiny faces, offering reassurance. Together, they prepared to carry the helpless family back to the warmth and safety of Henry's home. Back at the house, Henry made a nest by the fire. He laid out towels and blankets, gently placing the puppies inside. The shepherd curled up beside them, licking each pup and watching over them like a guardian. The old man found himself moving quickly, warming bottles, mixing milk, feeding the hungry mouths. Day by day, the house filled with new sounds. The puppies yipped and tumbled, their tiny legs unsteady. The shepherd watched over them, teaching them how to play and keeping them safe from harm. Henry laughed as the puppies chased his slippers and chewed on his shoelaces. The house, once silent and still, was now alive with noise and joy. Neighbors began to notice the change. They stopped by to see the puppies, bringing treats and stories. Children giggled in the yard, chasing the playful pups. Henry found himself smiling more, his days busy with feeding, cleaning, and playing. The shepherd stayed close, never letting the puppies out of sight. The old man realized he was no longer alone. The shepherd had become his partner, and the puppies had brought laughter and warmth back into his life. The house was full, not just of dogs, but of hope. As the puppies grew, the shepherd became their teacher and protector. He showed them how to chase butterflies, how to bark at the mailman, and how to curl up in a safe corner when the world felt too big. Henry watched with pride, feeling his own heart grow alongside the puppies. The old man's life changed in ways he never expected. He found himself opening his door to neighbors and friends, sharing stories and laughter. The puppies brought the community together. People came to visit, to help, and to play. Henry felt the walls of his loneliness crumble, replaced by connection and belonging. Every evening Henry sat by the fire with the shepherd at his feet and the puppies curled around him. He realized that the desperate bark had not just saved the puppies, it had saved him too. In rescuing the helpless, he had rescued himself from solitude and sorrow. Love and courage had changed everything. Henry learned that sometimes the ones we save are the ones who save us. In the end, it all started with a single desperate bark, a call for help that became a chorus of hope and joy.